Welcome to my two-part tutorial video on how to create video animation in Rhino. Part 1 I'll demonstrate animation methods in Rhino, and Part 2 I will be importing our frames into Photoshop. To start, you first need to go to Rendering Tools or Render Tools. Towards the end, click on this Animation Tools, and then there will be 4 options to select from. Let's go through them one by one. The first one is sun study. So basically you can leave this as default. You can pick the time and date, of course, to ensure which day you want to do, and also set the frames. Usually 1 is too slow, so minutes between frame maybe 5 to 10 should have a good outcome. Of course, you want to change your display method and viewport. So I've set up diagrams, but let's use rendered viewport perspective animation. So everything else should be okay. Before you click start, make sure you have set your location to the location of your site. And if you don't have this, just type in sun in your command. Everything else should be okay. Now, this button here gives you a preview of your animation. That is your sound analysis animation. Let's go through the second one. The second one is fly through. Fly through is quite straightforward. You will first need to set up a curved line. Set up from there. Set there to there. You don't want your character or your camera to be at the ground, so you lift this up a bit. Maybe just to there. So you're on the street. Now let's preview. Let's set the path action. So set up fly through animation. You'll click the curve. How many frames? So we can do 300 for this one. We can leave it as rendered and the viewport is perspective. So this will take us on a journey. Camera will start there and end from there. So we'll hit the preview button again just to check. And there we go. Yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. And let's stop it for now. If you want to change a bit on the camera in terms of the point of view or the height, you can also change your properties viewport. So if we change this like to 10, which you shouldn't do for this perspective, but let's say if you want to change it for some reason, this is where you want to change it, and then you can hit apply again so you can see the difference. Now this is useful through other animations, so which is this one here, path animation. So let's set up a path animation now, but before that we want to copy this curve, right? So maybe to there. So now this will become our path, which still goes from this point to the end. However, the direction the camera is looking at is now changed. Now it's looking towards these buildings. So let's try this. Click on set up path animation. Just follow the command. So that's the path. Set up the path target, which is this one here. We can leave everything as default, which is what we set before, rendered and perspective. Click on OK. Now if the camera length was 50, your camera will be extremely close to all these trees and you wouldn't have a great perspective. So let's preview that. Yeah, see how your camera is super close to everything? We can change that, say 20. Let's preview that again. Yeah, so that looks much better. If you think your animation is too fast, we can set this again. Change this to 600. And this will make it slower. So we have one final animation, which is 360-degree turntable. Click on this. Let's change this to 300 so it's a bit faster, and everything else as it is. Now, 360 animation basically is rotating your viewport 360 degrees. This could be good for site introduction or site plan analysis. So let's say let's draw a dot to be our center, so it's a bit easier. So that's a dot. You can remove all the previous curved lines. Click on the dot. Now we want to zoom. Zoom selected. So that was select to the dot. We just want to zoom out from the dot. Okay. Now let's slightly change the angle a little bit. Maybe like that. You can also change this to parallel. Actually, let's change that here from perspective to parallel reflected. Oh, there you go, parallel actually. So now everything is in parallel. Zoom out a little bit, and let's just try preview the animation. So press preview. No, okay, need to set that again. It's okay. So now that's the center. We've reset the viewport, and here we go. So that looks okay. I'm gonna delete that dot, of course. Now to export all the frames to make it into animation, you need to press the record animation button, click on that, and then you need to check your targeted folder, so where your animation saves. I'm just going to save this. Let's say onto my desktop. That didn't work. Right, there we go. Select folder. And then you just need to press enter. Now, over here is the number of images or frames that it's captured. So right now I'm only at 25, 26, 30, and we set 300. So this will take maybe a minute. I'll be back when this is done. I'm back, and it only took about 40 seconds. Now I'm gonna jump into my folder, which is all of the animation frames export. It'll give you a preview in a .html file. You can double click on this and get a preview of your animation. However, this is not in its highest quality. To get the highest quality, you will need to use Photoshop or a video editing tool to import all the frames to export a .mp4 file. I'll do that in the next part of the tutorial. Thank you for watching.